Okay, so what I'd like everyone to do, please, is write the title substitution, write out the learning objective, which is to understand how to substitute values into expressions, and it's grade 3 to 4 work. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be looking at is some basic substitution. So the first question here, we've got y equals x plus 4. And what you'll get from the substitution question is you'll get a formula which may or may not look something like this, and then you'll get the letters to substitute in. So let's say we've got x equaling 7. So they'll tell you what x equals. Then what you've got to do is you've got to substitute it in. So if we do that, what we do is we simply get rid of the x and we replace it with number 7. So it's going to be 7 plus 4, which would be 11. So we end up with that question as y equals 11. Sometimes they'll try and make it a little bit trickier and they'll give you a negative number. So let's say for question B they give you x equals minus 6. If you then substitute that in, y equals, and again exactly the same thing, you replace the x, so you get rid of the x and replace it with minus 6. So y equals minus 6 minus 3. And then if you struggle a little bit with negative numbers, think about it in terms of a number line. So you've got 0 here. Now the first number is minus 6, so that's there. Then you're going to take away 3, so you're going to get more negative. So minus 6 take away 3, it's going to leave you with minus 9. So the final answer is y equals minus 9. Okay, so here are a couple of the basic questions. Sometimes they'll give you something a little bit trickier, so if we go through these ones now. Now the first one here, we've got p equals mn, and your value of m is 4 and your value of n is 3. So if we write down p, so this is question A, p equals mn. Now what that means is m times n. So when you replace the m with a 4 and n with a 3, it's going to be 4 times 3. So we end up with p equals 12. Okay, let's have a look at B. So we've got p equals m squared. So again, m is 4, so you're going to write down that p equals 4 squared. Now remember, squared means times by itself. That's going to be 4 times 4, so you're going to get p equals 16 for that one. Okay, sorry, just quickly, if the teacher that's covering this lesson, if you want to stop or pause or rewind the videos at any point, feel free to do so. That way the students will get time to note down any workings. Okay, question C. To write out the formula, p equals m take away n squared. So again, the first mark is always going to be for replacing or substituting the values in. So instead of m minus n squared, it's going to be 4. Instead of n squared, it's going to be take away 3 squared. The next thing we've got to do, using BidMaths, is we're going to do the indices before we do the take away. So it's going to be 4 take away and 3 squared is 9. Because remember, squared just means times by itself. So p equals 4 take away 9. So 4 take away 9 is going to be minus 5. Question E. We've got this one here. So we've got p equals m bracket m minus n. So if we then replace the letters, so m is going to be replaced by 4. And that's going to be 4 bracket 4 take away 3. So we're going to do the brackets bit first, just like BidMaths or BODMaths. So this is going to be brackets. So that's the first thing we do. And then if there's any indices, so they're powers, like squared, that's the second thing we do. The next thing is either division or multiplication, depends which one comes up first. Multiplication. And then the addition and subtraction. So that's the order in which you do things. So here we're going to do the brackets first. So that's going to be 4, 3. Now that means 4 take away 3 is 1. What am I talking about? There we go. So 4 take away 3 is 1 you got left in the brackets. That's going to be 4 lots of 1. So 4 times 1 is going to be 4. So you've got p equaling 4. And again, just pause the video any time so that you can copy that down. Then let's have a look at question F. So question F, p equals n squared, so that's going to be 3 squared plus 3, because all you're doing with this question is you're going to get rid of the n and you're going to replace it with the number 3, so it's going to be 3 squared, get rid of the n, plus 3. So I've got p equals 3 squared plus 3. Now again, using the bid maths over here, we're going to do the indices first before we do the adding. So p is going to equal 3 squared is 9 plus 3, so p equals 12. And then finally, if we have a look at question G, you got p equals n divided by m. That's going to be 3 over 4. Then we can just leave it like that, because that's 3/4. If you wanted to work out what that is as a decimal, 3/4 is the same as 0.75. And that's how you do substitution. Now, what you're going to have for your work today is you're going to have a bunch of sheets that look like this. Now notice that these look slightly different to these ones that we've got on this page. We get rid of the ink on this page. So with all of these ones, you've got p equals. But if you have a look on the next page, you don't have, so if you have this first one here, we've just got a plus 5, it doesn't equal anything. And it doesn't always have to. But the way we're going to do this one is, so for question A, and this is how I want it written out, I want you to write down a plus 5, and then that equals, so your value of a is 7, so that's going to be 7 plus 5, which equals 12. And then you go through and you do the same for all of these questions here. And I think it's either 2 or 3 pages worth, and hopefully that should be enough to last you for the lesson. And in all these questions, your value of A is 7, your value of B is 10, your value of C is 3, D is 8, and E is 15. So you've got to put all these values into these equations here when they come up. So for instance, U here, you're going to do 2 lots of A, so that's going to be 2 lots of 7, plus 3 lots of C, so it's going to be plus 3 lots of 3. And then you work out what that equals. Okay, thank you very much, boys and girls, and can you make sure you get through as much of this work as possible, because I'm going to be looking for this on my return.